Welcome to 24 Days of Drops, an Animal Crossing New Horizons advent calendar that reveals a new build for a differently themed island entrance each day until Christmas. Are you ready for today's theme? Hello, Miss Mams and people. Welcome to day 6. No, 5. Is it day 6 or day 5? I think it's day 5. Jesus Christ, I'm already losing track of time for our Animal Crossing New Horizons advent calendar. Welcome in. Today we are tackling a theme that I can't really pinpoint or assign a proper theme to. I would say this is a crossover of an abandoned city and a national park, which may seem like a weird concept, but I shall explain what that means. But welcome in first of all. If you're new to the channel, my name is Nina. I'm very glad that you're here. Welcome in. I hope you're having a lovely day today. Happy Monday, I think it is today for you. Yes, it is. Today is November 26th for me, as I am recording this. So for me, it is the weekend. So that is also very stunning. But for this island's theme, I felt very inspired to do a national park theme. But I thought, as much as I really like the theme and I still love seeing those themes and those islands, I felt like it was done very many times and it was difficult to create like a different take on the build. So I decided to go with a highway road type of thing that was like a bridge. So the bridge had fallen down, so it's completely broken, kind of like an abandoned highway, and that went past a very natural area. So sometimes, when you're riding on a highway, there's some nature bits around most of the time. So I thought that we were doing exactly that. So it's going to be this stunning pathing by Colin Crossing, which has these like nice stones. And then we have the water puddles in between. It's really, really stunning. And then towards the back of this bridge, we're going to tackle the bridge first with the cars on top and stuff. And then later on, we're going to be tackling the nature bit behind. So this is a gigantic build. It took me ages, but I feel like this is one of my favorite builds for this advent calendar. There are going to be some that I still haven't built that I'm sure are going to be very exciting as well, but this is just a theme that was very, very fun for me to build because, my heart will always, what's the word? Beat to the sound of an abandoned city? I have no idea. It is early in the morning and I am recording this, which is probably a mistake, but oh well, it's gonna be so much more fun to edit this then, right? But we're gonna be laying down shitloads and tons of custom design pathing, Jesus Christ. And as I have said in my previous builds, all the custom designs are in the description box below as always. So if you are interested in using especially this stunning code by Colin Crossing, but also all the others that I've used, all of them are going to be in the description box below if you'd like to check them out. But we are now on to tackling more of this road. I felt like I had to elongate it a little bit so that you can see the ends of it from the island entrance. And then I am also going to thicken it out a little bit because I obviously wanted to have some cars up there, and I realized, oh well, we can't really have cars if it's only 3 tiles wide because I wanted to have cars going in both directions. I just pooped my mic and I'm very sorry. So we're going to be doing that, and as you can see, I'm still working with the 3 tiles, and I tried to limit the amount of custom pathing that I had for this build because obviously I was building all these things, all these entrances for the advent calendar, so I still had like some codes in my pockets that I already had saved from a different build that I felt like I could use for another build. So I had limited spaces, so I couldn't get the full road path. But if you were to recreate this, I'd highly recommend to get like a proper road custom path with at least 19 tiles, and 9 tiles, if not 10 or more, because it's going to make it a lot more easy to break this path up a little bit, because I feel like that helps it a lot to make it feel like it's fallen down. And we're going to flop some cars up there, obviously, and also some foliage bits, some rocks, and I'm going to use this corrugated iron fencing as kind of, those sidings of a road. I felt like that was really fitting. I thought I would thicken the road out a little bit more, but apparently I didn't. Oh well, that's okay. That's a-okay, it still worked. You can also use the wooden fields field sign as something that goes in the middle of the road. I've done that on my new island that we started on Twitch the other night, where we used the wooden field sign and customized it so that it looked like there was like metal bits on it. So that works perfectly for that like little middle strip that you see on highways. So if you were to recreate this, highly recommend checking that item out as well. It's a very stunning item. And I always forget that it exists because I think it is a 2.0 update, and I'm just still not aware of all the items that we have in this game. I regularly discover items that I haven't seen, and I'm like, oh wow, a whole new world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Anyway, and I felt like I really wanted to use the ruined items and use the ruined pillars especially, because I felt like, even though it doesn't really make sense because this little breakthrough that we have here is a way too narrow to have 2 ruined arches and way too thick to have just 1, but we will just pretend, that this makes sense, okay? You can definitely do this a bit better than I did. Have it a bit wider so that it makes sense that there might have been 2 ruined arches, or you could actually just leave the ruined arches and you can just walk through them. I think that would also look very beautiful, but I wanted it to feel very broken up and like the bridge had completely fallen down. And now we are finally tackling this water bit because we are going to have a gigantic river back here, a fake river obviously, and we're going to litter that with foliage. We're going to have some duckies, and it was really fun to play with this path, but it was also very tricky because I wanted it to be very windy. I wanted it to have a little island on the left side. We're going to have like a little island of this nice little cobblestone type of thing. So that was very tricky to play with because I feel like I didn't download all the slots for this code, and this is a gigantic code. If you decide to get this one, be prepared that it's going to take up a lot of space in your custom design panel because you need to use so many. And even though it doesn't look like it was that tricky right here because I kind of just skipped through that and make it look very easy with my editing, it took me a whole while to figure out this pathing, but it was very short because obviously I don't want to make you suffer through that, right? And now I'm onto this side. I actually did go back in and go down and see how the white little middle strip ended, and so it does make sense where the next white middle strip thingy is on this side, so that it continued. If we had like a continuous road, it would make sense with the right strips, which doesn't, you won't be able to tell anyway. But that's the kind of realism that I want. If I'm not having the correct width for the bridge in terms of like the ruined arches, then at least let me have my correct middle strips, right? And I also decided to have a little pop of yellow with this, even though, I didn't want it to look too old because, I don't know, I felt like the yellow just brought something in, and I really wanted to have yellow flowers because I feel like I always only use the white ones, the green ones, sometimes the black ones, and that's it. If I'm feeling brave, maybe some blues, but I rarely use that much color, even though I feel like with this advent calendar I have used a lot more color than I usually would. So I'm actually quite pleased with that because I wanted to do something a little bit different for some of the builds than my usual builds. But we are now on to finishing up this pathing and just filling in the last little bits. I obviously edited a lot of it out because, again, very boring stuff. And now we're finally onto this foliage, but this was so much fun because we're going to be layering so many trees, and I'm also going to be using the evergreen ashes. So if you are to recreate this, be prepared to get a shitload of those. And I actually used the ones with the grey bottoms, you will see in a little bit, because they blend into the stone path very well. So that was very fun and handy. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then we're going to have some cliffs behind it. And I wanted to have like a little, almost like a little baby canyon type of thing. What the fuck is a baby canyon, Nina? Just say a small, narrow canyon. Where that the river leads into. So we're going to be doing that. It was very fidgety though, I can't lie, because this water path that Colin has, I'm not sure if I just didn't download the full one or if it doesn't come with the correct, like how the water meets the cobblestones at one point, so it doesn't have the bottom diagonal squares. I think that they are available, I just didn't get them, so it was very difficult for me to create a windy path without having all the 9 tiles of this water pathing. So it does look a bit strange, but once we have decorated around it, I promise it's going to look a lot better, because we're going to be zhuzhing up the edges by layering like custom designs and stones next to and onto it, so that, you know, it kind of conceals the edges a little bit and it makes it feel a lot more natural and breaks it up. So I'm quite pleased with that. And I'm also going to be using this torturous name of a fossil. I have no idea how to fucking pronounce that. I'm gonna put it very, very big on the screen so that you can, if you're interested, you can use it. It looks like a flat rock with like a little mini fossil on it, but you can barely see the mini fossil. So it just looks like a very flat, small rock that I wanted to implement, so that it gave it a bit more variety, and it almost looked exactly like the rock that Colin drew on that one rock thingy path inside of the water. So that was really, really stunning, and I really, really like that item. So I highly recommend you get that. I wasn't even aware that it was a thing, because I think someone in chat let me know when we were doing our Halloween island, and I remembered that this item existed for this build, and I felt like this is perfect, because it allowed me to use a lot more of the rock items, because I don't love to use too many of the same items, so that it doesn't feel too artificial, because I feel like in nature you wouldn't have the exact same rock over and over again probably, right? So yeah, I kind of tried to zhuzh up a little bit with that item, and I really did. I feel like it really worked. And I am now onto cliffscaping again. And I know that this is kind of an awkward spot with like the museum and rest services, but since I'm on a tear this down, I didn't really want to pay too much attention to this. If this was your island with this exact same layout, I'd suggest to maybe upgrade the museum and move it, or to just not build this big of an entrance on your island, because it does look a little bit awkward with that museum there. And the museum would actually be perfect for this island's theme if I was to continue this. So I would probably place my museum somewhere else if you still have the option to. Don't do as me, you know, don't do as I do as I say. Okay, thank you very much. But yeah, I don't know, I just really enjoyed building this. It was very fun to also play. I stopped recording for some reason. I say that it's gonna be on purpose in the next little snippet. It was not. It was probably just brain failage. I'm sorry for the weird cut off within the sentence, but I'm gonna carry on talking in normal format now. Super sorry, this is very weird. I don't know why I keep doing this shit. Maybe I got scared because someone walked down the hallway and I thought that you could hear that. No idea. Back to our regular scheduled content. Fun. Oh, hi. I have no idea where I left off with my audio, because I thought that I had unpaused it again, because I had to stop recording for a second, and then I thought that I had unpaused it. I didn't. So that was very fun. Very, very fun. But welcome back. It's stunning to see you again. I think I was talking about that it was fun to play with different themes that I usually wouldn't get to play with. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. But we are on to cliff decoration now. Oh my god. I thought that maybe it would help, or that it would better to record this now, because I was quite, you know, I didn't really have much of a brain there anyway. I thought that it would maybe help to re-record this. I mean, not really re-record. You can't re-record if you don't have a recording in the first place. But you know what I'm trying to say, right? Yes, indeed. We are doing a little cliff tree here, because I feel like I'm not doing cliff trees anymore. And these are so fucking handy. I love them so very much. So if you don't know how to do a cliff tree, I just did. Go back, pause the video. It's fairly simple. You just do a little corner of, you know, one of the corners that you want to place your tree onto, and then you do that little waterscaping kind of corner on the bottom. You place the tree, you remove the water again, because if you don't remove the water, the tree will continue to grow. And if you do remove the water, you don't have to stunt a stunted tree, which is very stunning. And I love it very, very much. And I wanted to have that weird corner there. It does look quite weird there, but I wanted to have that there so that we could place down evergreen ashes later, because we're going to use so many, and I'm not sure if I had already said that. So if I do repeat anything anything that I've said before, very sorry, because I have no fucking clue what I just said and what I've already talked about. So if I double take somewhat, I'm very sorry. Okay, I'm sure that you can forgive me though, because you lot are lovely and I love you all dearly. But we are now covering the backside with ruined arches as well. I was initially going to use fence items, but they just looked very out of place, and I felt like the ruined arches just kind of brought it together, because obviously, you know, using the same items will bring it together a lot more. So that was quite stunning indeed. And yeah, very, very happy with that. Hold. Okay, I know that at this point, because I remember me dropping down these vine benches, I was talking about something extremely interesting that I thought was really interesting. Would you think that I could remember what I was talking about back here? Absolutely no fucking clue. So we're gonna talk about me. Hi. I've been having a lovely weekend so far. It is Wednesday. What the fuck am I saying? It is Saturday for me, and I'm going to be playing some Planet Zoo later, which I'm very excited about. Even though, you know, I do not condone zoos, I find them extremely unnecessary and not very good. I know that that's a difficult, touchy subject, but you know, I don't love zoos, so I'm gonna probably be doing a huge like reservatory for like animals, and I have been thinking of streaming it. So if Planet Zoo is something that interests you, because the build stuff, if you were impressed by The Sims, you have not seen Planet fucking Zoo. Oh my god, same with Planet Coaster, you know. But I wanted to have Planet Zoo because, I don't know, I thought that was quite cute. If you have like, if I was to build like just a natural kind of forest, and I could have like deer in there just like roaming freely. Very excited. Also, if any of you plays Planet Zoo and knows how to turn off or stop visitors from coming, because I don't want those fuckers in there. I want them to stay away, okay? This is my zoo. This is my reservatory. I don't want no one in there, okay? I don't want anybody in there except for me and my deer, okay? And also, if there's an expansion pack that has ducks in them, please let me know, because I need it, okay? I want to have a huge duck pond for myself to look at. Thank you very much. But we are now detailing up the cliffs. Stunning. Very weird excursion there. Detour, that's the word that I wanted to use, because in German you can, I think you can say Exkursion. At least I say that a lot. Anyway, now you had a Planet Zoo and a German lesson 1. What else could you ask for, really, right? Yes, indeed. But now we are just finishing up the last little bits and bobs, and I just really like how the green and the yellow look together, especially if you place down the green and yellow mums next to each other. I've never been a fan of having the same flower type right near each other, but I feel like the mums just hit different. I just love them so much in any color. I'm very picky with flower colors, but the mums just work in any color. Imagine blue mums though. Oh my god. Or orange mums. Stop it. I would simply pass out. Nintendo, if you do that, I will pay you money just for those 2 colors of flowers. I will pay you money. I am offering you right now, okay? Give us an update with more flower colors. Please, okay? I beg. But yeah, we're just gonna finish up this last little cliff here, and then I'm gonna be plonking in some more gyroids, some mush items. I actually really like what I did with this cliff over here, because I feel like I actually did a proper design on here, because you could technically walk up to it, so I wanted it to look fairly okay, as opposed to the cliff that we did on the right, where I just kind of littered it in evergreen ashes, because that looked very strange. Like, I can't lie, it's a very weird looking cliff up close, but I feel like from afar it works quite well, you know, because of all the skinny leaves that we have. But yeah, so this is the last little cliff that we have. So now you're gonna see what I mean by the evergreen ashes look extremely weird, because I'm gonna be popping 2 there, and up close it looks like absolute butthole, you know, no other word for that. But from afar it does work really well, because of the skinny little leaves that the evergreen ashes have, and I really like them. Imagine we could plant those into the ground. Oh my god. Stunning. We are now approaching, finally, the end of this build, because it's been a long boy. It's been a very long boy. I'm just going to be sprucing this up with some more trash items so that it looks almost dilapidated. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I very much appreciate that. Give this video a big old thumbs up. I feel like I never say that anymore, which I don't have anything against that, because I don't actually love asking for that. But if you enjoyed it, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We would love to have you here. Check me out on Twitch if you haven't been over there before, and I shall leave you now with a montage of this finished build, my lovely. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I shall see you tomorrow for the next day of our advent calendar. Bye bye.